Alton Towers is probably one of the best theme parks in the UK, but have you ever thought, what if I owned this fine establishment? If you didn't, I did, and I'm out of video ideas, so here we are. With that said, this is what I'd do if I owned Alton Towers. So if I owned Alton Towers, what would I do? Bearing in mind I can practically do anything. Extend park hours, I'm alright thanks. Remove Rita, shut up. No, I'm just gonna start slow and add some flat rides because right now, Towers only has like one good flat ride in Enterprise. So I'd like to ramp that up to 3 with 2 brand new thrill rides in both Forbidden Valley and X Sector. These would probably be on the old sites of Submission and Ripsaw because well, they're gone. In the Ripsaw area I'm thinking that a Mondale Top Scan or you know, something along those lines could work. It would be a decent thrill attraction between coasters, so I don't think that would be too bad of a fit. As for X Sector, I think that one of these that I don't know the name of could work. It's pretty compact, it spins, it looks kind of futuristic, so I guess it could work pretty well in that area. For 2021, I'd also do some smaller things across the park, so bringing back some of the special effects on the rapids, theming up Galactica's tunnel, because right now it looks like an alley. You know, the little things that literally only enthusiasts care about. But I think the biggest of these changes would be the refurbishment of Jewel. If you didn't know, Chessington recently overhauled Tomb Blaster, which is a similar ride. They included a story, got rid of some targets, added better lighting to make it a bit eerier, and I think that this type of revamp could work perfectly for Jewel. Okay, with the most recent major roller coaster coming in 2018 with Wicker Man, 2022 would be when I start work on the new major roller coaster for SW9. In terms of location, I'd personally have it in the car park by Galactica because A, well, that's quite a bit of space, and B, I don't get how a new coaster is meant to fit in Rita's area. You can convince me all you want that a Blitz is going there, but I physically can't comprehend how. Yikes. Whilst construction is going on with Secret Weapon 9, I'd also expand the world of David Williams, because as it stands now where the area isn't even open, it seems more like Gangster Granny World Feet Raj, so some new attractions would be nice, maybe a new 4D show in the old theatre, have it themed to Grandpa's Great Escape or the Hunger Games. Whilst I'm at it, I'd also add a new flat ride in the area and re-themed driving school, as the area seems to be missing something at the moment. I'm saying this, even though it's not open. Okay, 2023, I'd use this year to take a break, and honestly, I think you can tell not by choice, but what would I do in this off year? Repaint Tower Street because it looks like Balamory meets laser tag, rewrap the monorail trains, though that would be a shout. No, I'm just going to expand CBeebies Land. I've got to be realistic, and this is about as good as it's going to get. Unfortunately, this expansion would see Spinball Wizard being removed, but I think everyone expects that. I do personally enjoy it as a ride, it's stupidly underrated, but that area seems like the only plot of land where CBeebies Land could expand. So there you are. In terms of what this expansion could feature, I'm thinking that a small kiddie coaster, maybe something like Duplo Dino Coaster, could work in that area. I guess another option would be a mini log flume or a water ride of some description, that might work, but again, the specifics are beyond me. Just like in 2021, I'd also do some smaller things across the park, so having roaming actors in different areas, and also adding a new show in Mutiny Bay where the courtyard is. I mean, yeah, it's been Wickermanized, but I think that whole stage and area has a decent potential for a new show. Have it themed to pirates or even the Beyond, and you know, just bring your kids up for a cult initiation. On to 2024, if I haven't physically exploded by now with how unrealistic this video is, I'd be hoping to open an SNS Axis coaster for Secret Weapon 9. Now I know some people say that they want to see an Intamin Blitz or a B&M Wing coaster, even a water coaster, and that's fair, I'm going with this. But this would be something very different to come to the UK and possibly Europe, which would make an Axis coaster a great fit for Towers. I don't exactly want this ride to be based on a gimmick like most of the other SWs, because if I were to smack a gimmick onto this, I'd have to get creative. You know, with all of that said, the ride just seems like a massive gimmick on its own, which isn't a problem. In terms of layout and all of that jazz, I'd focus on something pretty compact. Think Nemesis meets Wicker Man meets Rita. Wow, okay, that was a dreadful example. But in short, have a launched Axis coaster that's well themed, follows the terrain. Now if this were to be done in the car park, I know that a lot of digging would have to be done because of, well, trees, but I reckon that it could work. So, 2025 would be a bit of a different year. It would mainly be used to improve the park, update the trains on I just called it Lita, for fun. Update the trains on Rita to feature lap bars, maybe repaint the Smiler on Galactica, you know, the little things that literally just enthusiasts care about. But this year wouldn't go without additions, no. In fact, for 2025, I'd also re-theme and partially change the Alton Towers dungeons to either work with the story of Hex or something else related to the past of the towers. The dungeons are quite spooky already, so some theming could be kept, but seeing how how permanent these year-round scare attractions are, I think that something that doesn't entirely rely on actors would be better in the long run, and it's a bit more unique. I'd also add another hotel. This one wouldn't involve camping in a shed, and instead it would be a bit more permanent. It could expand on the theme of SW9, it just wouldn't involve camping. So with the past few years being quite the hive of consequence-free activity, we have come full circle. 2026 would be a slow year, but I'd at least like to do something, and you can tell that I've run out of ideas, because for 2026, I'm thinking of adding another flat ride in Forbidden Valley. You know, despite adding a couple of few years prior at this point, I tell you, I'm absolutely killing it with these additions. If you've seen Soaring Timbers at Canada's Wonderland, then you'll know that something like that might be a decent fit in the Subterra area. I imagine it would be a good GP pleaser because of how insane it looks, and as mentioned, there are not many good flat rides in the park, so you know anything is good at this point. For 2026, I'd also start planning a family coaster for the Woods by Jewel. If you didn't know, a while back there were actually plans to build a roller coaster in that area. It was meant to have some sort of gimmick with broomsticks, but it didn't happen. So maybe a new spinning coaster for families, something like Wind would fit perfectly in the park's lineup, but I don't know. This probably wouldn't happen until 2028, and yeah, I'm not going to cover 10 years on this video. So now you've heard my opinions, it's time to hear some of yours. About a month ago, you know, gotta love consistency, I asked, if you owned Alton Towers and you could add one ride, what would it be and why? Here's what some of you had to say. Realistically, get rid of Rita and have a really sinister themed dark ride / walkthrough with an Omnimover type attraction in the space of Rita going behind 13. Another dark ride would be really nice. I think it would fit really well in Dark Forest. It would be nice to see something that's kind of thrilling, seeing how Nemesis Subterra is gone. So I don't think that's too bad of an idea. But yeah, don't remove Rita, it's a brilliant ride, and if you don't like it, I will fight you. Unrealistic, but a zipline going over the gardens from Forbidden Valley to Dark Forest. Towers did do something similar, just on a lot smaller scale in the early 2000s. They had one going from the towers. It was called Vertigo or something like that. That looked pretty fun. So I guess, to a certain extent, it wouldn't be too unrealistic. Francis Jackson's famed train, Rise of the Meme.
Now in 2.5 seconds.
Intamin flume rides similar to Chapas would be a good addition, as there seems to be a lack of water rides in Merlin Parks. That's actually a really good idea. If they ever were to get rid of the rapids, then something like Chapas would be an amazing replacement. But I guess the main issue with that is just where it will go. Maybe where the forest section of the flume was. I'd like to see them add a flat ride, but that's not going to happen. So I'd like to see them add a new coaster, maybe an Intamin Blitz or a Max Spinner. If that sounds decent. Personally, out of the two, I'd prefer to see a Max Spinner overall, because I feel as if a Blitz would fit maybe better at Fort, but either would be good. Something like Time Traveller by Jewel or Nemesis would be insane. A Mad Big Dipper would be legendary. Either that or an RMC Raptor would fit amazingly in the Towers lineup. Yeah, Mad Big Dipper would be great, especially in the Spinball Wizard area. If Seabeaver's Land doesn't expand and Spinball Wizard is removed, then a Mad Big Dipper could definitely fit well in that area. Personally, I don't see a Raptor happening at all at Alton Towers due to capacity. As much as it would be a good fit, I just don't see it happening. Said this before, but a launched RMC hybrid going through the woods by Jewel or Rita, it'll be a world's first and similar to Lightning Rod. And that's a shout. I think we're all just a bit desperate to ride an RMC. If RMC ever do another launch coaster, which I'm not sure they will, but if they were to make another one, then something like Lightning Rod at Alton Towers would be brilliant in an ideal world. An inverting water coaster that breaks a world record and acts as a thrilling alternative to Congo River Rapids. Funny you should say that, because Mack Rides have actually developed a concept for Pulsar, except they've added a loop onto it. I think it's called the Mack Power Loop. So I mean, it's possible. Personally, I'd rather just see a water coaster that doesn't feature an inversion, but one with an inversion would definitely be something different, and I guess it kind of worked. Something like Rush! I love the enthusiasm. Seeing how Blade is presumably gone, a Screaming Swing could fit really well, but I guess finding a space big enough so it would be able to fit in the park would be an issue considering the tree restriction, but to be honest, any new flat ride would be good. It needs a dueling coaster, world's first dueling RMC Raptor. They have a low throughput, but dueling would double that. You know what, a dueling coaster would work really well at Towers. I'm genuinely surprised that not many people have brought the idea up because it's brilliant. Personally, I don't see a Raptor happening at all due to capacity as you said, but something like Dueling Dragons in China would be amazing. I'd quite like to see the Raj coaster built by the fair hands of Raj himself. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I know this video is very different compared to what I normally do, but I'll be doing a video explaining all that and why I've been gone, so you know, stay tuned. If you want to see more stuff like this, then be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and if you haven't already, then be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully, that next video isn't in 3 months.